Hello, this is Kyle back again on another episode of Midnight Paranormal Podcast. Today we are going to be talking about the trolls of Barron County. I just found this one on Pine Barrens Institute, so if you want to check out the link below, the article's down there. Otherwise, I'm going to be reading it out loud here on the podcast. Okay, so the story takes place in 1919 and revolves around the experience of a teenager named Harry Anderson. While most of the limited sources I came across state that Harry was 16 at the time of the encounter, some do claim that he was in fact 13 when this occurred in reality. It doesn't matter at the age of Harry, it's just one of those small details that gets lost in history over time. It doesn't really affect the story, but, anyways, let's go back to it. The story of Harry Anderson and the Trolls of Barron County goes as such in 1919, like what I was saying before. Harry and his family went out for a legendary drive in the family's new Ford Model T. It was a relaxing summer evening, and the family didn't really have a destination in mind. They were just content with traveling in the back roads of the area, enjoyed each other's companies. After some time, Harry's father made the decision to start their journey back home. It was now 10 p.m., and the family was quite a ways away from a major concentration of people. So they got their bearings and headed towards the home of Eau Claire, but as the vehicle made its way down the dissolved primitive highway, it encountered a problem. Surrounded by nothing but summer darkness and moonlight, the vehicle came to a dead stop in the middle of Highway 25. A bit irritated, Harry's father goes out from behind the wheel, lifted the hood, and instantly recognized that there was a new vehicle was in need of some oil. Not wanting to stay out in the middle of nowhere all night, Harry's father handed his son a small oil can that was kept in the Model T and asked him to head up the road to see if he was able to find a farmer willing to part with some oil. His father would remain with the vehicle to keep watch over both his new automobile as well as the rest of his family. Now, the accounts that I found of the story make no mention as to why Harry was asked to venture alone in this dark highway. The only age somewhat given to of anyone in the family is Harry's. So we are left to assume that either everyone else in the family was too young or to partake in this in this journey, I'm gonna say, or that they were in some way physically unable to do so. Either way, Harry took the oil can from his father with no questions, asked him, and proceeded to make his way towards an unknown farmer's house in the distance. As we walked through the warm darkness, came swinging with the motion of his arms. He came upon a sign that's on the side of the road in well-worn letters. The large sign read Barron, Wisconsin. Immediately, Harry realized how far from home they actually were. Nearly 60 miles, so with some added speed in his step, Harry made his way past the sign and farther down the road. Eventually, he spotted a farmhouse in the distance, and not wanting to waste any more time, he cut through the farmer's field and headed towards the door. Not much is said on how the interaction between Harry and the farmer went, but the teenager was able to get the oil without much of an issue and proceed to make his way back to his stranded family. And this fellow seeks of the strange is what a thing. And this is where things get weird. As Harry emerged from the farmer's field and back onto Highway 25, he took no notice of something strange moving towards him in the darkness. The nervous teen placed the oil can on the ground at his feet, stranded his eyes and strained his eyes in the darkness, and attempted to get a clearer picture as to what could be coming his way. What he saw was completely unexpected and left him, in his own words, terrified. From out in the darkness and moving directly towards Harry was what he could only describe as the 20 strange looking little men panicking. He jumped off the road and hid behind a tree of the as the line of strange creatures made their way past his location without even realizing he was there. Harry stood silent and watched them with wide eyes at the odd sight taking place before him. They walked in a single file line and each one was completely bald. They all had extremely white, pale skin, almost albino, and they were all wearing crudely fashioned pants that appeared to be stretched together or stitched together out of discarded pieces of leather. This unrefined clothing was held up with what appeared to be thin straps that went out over their shoulders. They stood no taller than a small child, and they were completely focused on what they were doing, marching along ugh, along with the single file processing. The strange men were able also thought to be speaking quite quietly to one another. Harry listened intentionally to make out what they were saying when at all of a sudden they all broke out into a strange song sung in unison. Now, before I continue with what they were singing, I feel the need to retain that the story is bizarre and I'm not making any of this up. This is truly believed to have taken place in 1919 about a young guy named Harry Anderson. Um, as the little troll like creatures march on, they all seamlessly broke out into a song and sung loudly in perfect harmony with each other. It was almost as if they all linked up, became one voice that was singing through 20 different mouths. Harry was able to hear every word, and upon telling his encounter, he said it went exactly like this: "We won't stop fighting till the end of war." In 1995, sound off one, two, sounds off three, four, detail on two, three, four, one, two, three, four. Again, not making this up. After the little men finished their song, they went back to speaking quietly to one another and continued to moving forward. Eventually, they came upon a line of trees along the side of the road and proceed to march into them and out of sight. Harry could hear them shuffling through the underbrush until their sounds faded and they were finally gone. Completely shocked and with heart beating wildly, Harry stepped back onto the road and proceeded to run the entire way back to his stranded family. When he when he arrived, he gave his father the oil can. The Model T started back up, and the family continued the long journey back home. Harry retold his encounter to his father and asked if anyone of them had seen these little 20 strange men marching in the moonlight, but sadly they have not. The troll like creatures have marched into Harry's reality and marched out just as quickly, never to be seen again. And that concludes the story of trolls of Barron County. And yeah, this is weird story that I just covered. So there are 20 strange little creatures that look like trolls in the middle of the night marching down the middle of the road. I I could kind of picture that in my head actually in a way. I don't know why, but I can. Um, I'm gonna see what else is on here. Also, one must not forget that Wisconsin was settled by early on by immigration. So, the legend of trolls was present in the state of the from the moment the first settlers arrived. And its roots run deep here. Yes, Wisconsin is kind of known because with trolls and stuff because of the immigrants from Germany, Ireland, and Norway coming here and settling here, and they had these stories to tell about the trolls and stuff. Uh, yeah, it's just a strange thing. Mount Horb, or known in the Badger say as the troll capital of the world. Yeah, this is just a really weird episode that I just talked about trolls because I don't know. I don't know if you guys know about the trolls or the gnomes or whatever, and some of the haunted locations and stuff in Wisconsin. But over in Devil's Punch Bowl, there's gnomes and fairies there. Trolls, I haven't really heard of that much. Besides, I don't know. But yeah, that's weird. Okay, I do have one more note on this podcast episode. Uh the Trolls of Barron County has like deep roots kinda. Well, more like with our cultures and stuff with trolls in general while we're on the subject. Uh but in basic in fact, while I was will the, okay, these are myth and legends. Trolls are in general. Uh, it goes way back in the days of ancient Norse and Viking culture. They are featured heavily in Scandinavian folklore, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Iceland, and Northern European stories, and they have constantly evolved throughout history to the point where pretty much everyone can recognize what a troll is. And also, one must not forget that we got a lot of German immigrants here. We got a lot of Irish, Norway, and our Scandinavian people, and a bunch of our uh, countries from what we just mentioned that came here. And so the legends of the trolls probably went down generation to generation to this story not that I'm talking about now with you guys. And yeah, it's just a kind of cool story, honestly. Like trolls just like marching down the middle of the road in the middle of the night. Like I would honestly be like, hey, look at you guys. Where are you guys heading to? That's why I'd be like anyway. If I met these guys, it's like, hey, what's up? I want to hang out with you guys. Do you guys mind? They'll probably end up cooking me or something because I don't know what they do. They're trolls are little bastards, probably more than likely. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of this podcast about the Barron County trolls. Uh, Check out the link below for Pine Barrens Institute for this article. Or I kind of read it myself. I'm not the best reader when it comes to out loud reading, as you guys could tell with a lot of these. But anyway, leave a like and review this podcast, and I hope you guys like the story and tune in for another one.